I never thought I'd remember a goodbye kiss more vividly than a wedding vow. Yet here I am, haunted not by the promises we once made, but by the way her lips lingered too long, the way her eyes darted away from mine as if I was already a stranger. It was the night everything shattered. Emily and I had been married for 12 years. Ours wasn't the kind of marriage that drew envy from others, but it was stable. At least I thought so. We had our routines. Friday night takeout, Sunday morning coffee on the porch, and a shared ritual of leaving each other little notes before work. It wasn't fiery passion anymore, but it was love. Or at least I believed it was. But over the last few months, something in Emily shifted. The notes stopped. The way she used to touch my shoulder as she passed me in the kitchen grew absent. She became guarded with her phone, quick to turn it face down whenever I walked into the room. At first, I convinced myself it was stress from work, or maybe just the slow drift marriages inevitably go through. But then came that night. It was late past 11 when Emily finally came home. I'd stayed awake, pacing the living room, my chest tight with a dread I couldn't name. The sound of her car pulling into the driveway made my pulse race, not with relief, but with suspicion. The door creaked open. She stepped inside, heels dangling from her fingers, her hair tousled in a way that didn't match a girl's dinner like she'd claimed. "You're still up?" she asked, startled. I studied her face, searching for the woman I knew. "Where were you, Em?" Her jaw tightened. "I told you, dinner with the girls. Dinner doesn't usually last until midnight." Her lips pressed into a thin line. She moved past me, but I caught the faint trace of cologne that wasn't mine. That was the moment something inside me cracked, a whisper in my mind saying the word I didn't want to believe. Betrayal. I didn't confront her that night. I wanted proof. I needed the truth laid bare before I destroyed what little was left between us. The next week I found it. Her phone, left charging in the kitchen while she showered. I didn't snoop often, but this time my hands shook as I opened her messages. And there it was. "Last night was perfect. I can't stop thinking about your kiss." My stomach dropped. The name attached was Daniel, coworker. Someone she'd mentioned before in passing, with a casualness I now realized was rehearsed. Scrolling further felt like tearing open my own chest. Their thread was full of words that once belonged to me. Playful banter. Plans to meet. Confessions of feelings she hadn't shared with me in years. And then the message that froze my blood. "Don't worry, he doesn't suspect a thing. One kiss goodbye and he'll never know." I dropped the phone like it burned me. That night, I sat on the porch until dawn, my mind looping over every moment of the past few months. The late nights. Distance, the fading warmth, and now the undeniable truth. She wasn't mine anymore. She had already left me long before she packed her things. But the thing that hollowed me out wasn't the betrayal itself. It was the ease with which she could erase me from her heart. When Emily walked into the kitchen the next morning, dressed neatly for work, I had already made my decision. "Sit down," I said quietly. Her brows furrowed. "What's going on?" I slid her phone across the table. Her eyes widened and then she looked away. Not in shock, not even in shame. Just avoidance. "How long?" My voice broke. Silence. Then a whispered, 6 months. The words gutted me. I leaned forward. "Why, Emily? We built a life together. Home. How could you?" She cut me off, her voice trembling but firm. "Because you stopped seeing me, Mark. You stopped noticing me years ago. I felt invisible, like I was just part of the furniture in this house. Daniel made me feel alive again." Her words were knives. "So instead of talking to me, you gave yourself to him?" Her lip quivered, but her eyes hardened. I needed more than what we had. There it was. The death sentence to our marriage. The final blow came later that night. Packed a bag. I didn't stop her, I couldn't. But as she stood at the door, suitcase in hand, she leaned in and pressed her lips to my cheek. "One kiss goodbye," she whispered, almost tender. That kiss was colder than any silence we'd ever shared. And with it she was gone. The days that followed blurred together. I went through the motions of life, work, meals, sleep, but nothing felt real. The house echoed with her absence. Every corner held a ghost. The chair where she used to curl up with a book, the mug she always used for coffee, the faint scent of her perfume on our sheets. I tried to hate her. God, I wanted to. But instead I found myself drowning in memories. The night we danced in the rain. The way she once laughed so hard she cried. The promises we whispered beneath a canopy of stars. Were those moments lies too? Or had she simply changed? Weeks passed before she reached out. Texts simple and cruel. I hope you can move on. It's better this way. Better for her maybe. For me it was a slow death. I deleted her number. Blocked her from my life. But the damage was already carved into me. Months later I saw her again, by accident at the grocery store. She looked radiant, her hand brushing against Daniel's as they walked past. She didn't notice me. Or maybe she did and chose not to. I stood frozen, clutching a basket of groceries I no longer remembered needing. Watching her smile at him the way she once smiled at me was like watching my own ghost fade away. That was when I finally understood. Love doesn't always end with screaming matches or shattered plates. Sometimes it dies quietly, with a kiss at the door and words that cut deeper than any blade. I sold the house a few months later. I couldn't live in a mausoleum of what we used to be. As I packed the last box, I found one of her old notes, crumpled at the back of a drawer. It said simply, "Forever M, always yours." I stared at it for a long time, then burned it in the fireplace. The pain hasn't left me. I don't think it ever will. But I've learned something in the ashes of us. Love is fragile and trust is everything. Once broken, there's no glue strong enough to mend it. Emily gave me one kiss goodbye. And with it, she erased 12 years of us. But she also gave me clarity. Because sometimes the only way to survive betrayal is to walk away, carrying nothing but the truth. And that's exactly what I did.